Hi, it's the M.L.M for the Soul Channel, and I do have a new topic for today. Before I begin, I just would like to say, may the words and expressions of my mouth and the thoughts and meditations of my heart find favor and acceptance before you, Hashem. And this is the continuation of the Mesillas Yesharim, which is called The Way of the Upright or The Path of the Just by the Ramchal of Moshe Chaim. This is from the Art Scroll Yaf edition, and this is what the Sefer looks like if you still haven't seen it yet. And I will have a link below to Art Scroll so you can check out all they offer. So this time on to a new chapter, Baruch Hashem. And it is part number 94. And this is chapter number 23 called The Way to Acquire Anavah, which is defined as humility. And I'm going to be splitting this up into small, I guess you can call them like sound bites, if you want to call them that. So they can be a lot shorter than most of my videos. Just wanted to be able to grasp information, and besides the fact that I'm not doing videos every week. So again, it gives you more time to go through and learn some of the information. Okay, so there are two practices that accustom a person to Anavah: training and contemplation. So Ramchal explains each of these in turn. So training in this context means that a person should gradually accustom himself to act humbly in the manner that we described in the previous chapter. So you can go back to the last videos to learn about that. So that is by sitting in inferior positions rather than in seats reserved for prominent people, walking in the rear of a group, and wearing modest clothing, meaning clothing that is respectable but not impressive. For when one accustoms himself to behaving in this way, humility will enter and settle into his heart little by little, until it is firmly established in him. And the commentary says that in chapter 22, Ramchal explained that Anavah is in essence a humble outlook, but is expressed in certain modes of conduct. Here the Ramchal adds that these modes of conduct are not only the proper expression of Anavah for one who already attained that level, but also can serve as a catalyst for acquiring inner Anavah. So meaning this will help you by doing these things that he mentioned. It'll help you. And further commentary says that in describing the process of acquiring humility, Ramchal underlines the importance of undertaking these actions ma'at, gradually and slowly. This is in fact an important principle in all areas of service of Hashem, and especially in character development. Ramchal mentioned it also at the end of chapter 15 regarding the acquisition of precious. It is a well-known principle that habal li'taher misayin oso. One who comes to purify himself is assisted from heavens. That's from Shabbos 104a. And the Vilna Gaon in the commentary to Mishlah 19 verse 3 writes that sometimes a person tries to improve himself in a certain area, but does not receive divine assistance. This occurs when he tries to suddenly skip to a level that is much higher than his present one. He is not assisted because this is an improper way to work on oneself, and such attempts can only end in failure. Improvement does not come in leaps, but in steps. And then it says, see also the insights above from previous areas, so I'm not going to go there. So, meaning, what is he saying? One who comes to purify himself, right? So I'm just going to give a little summary of this. So what it means is that when you're trying to get to a higher level, you can't skip parts. Just like this book goes in a certain order. Like if you start at the beginning of when I started this a long time ago, it has steps. So you can't say, oh, I want to jump from, Zrizas to Anavah. It doesn't work that way. Meaning you have to follow. It's a step-by-step plan. How you can acquire these levels. It goes up gradually. So don't try to skip, because then you're not going to. You're really missing what you need to do. So that's important to follow the guidelines. Okay, and then continuing on. So why a gradual approach is necessary? So now he's going to explain. For a person to achieve Anavah. For C, since it is the nature of the human heart to feel conceited and superior to others, it is difficult for a person to completely uproot this natural tendency and acquire true Anavah, unless he utilizes the tactic that through his outward actions, which are more readily in his control, he very gradually integrates this quality of humility into his inner thoughts and feelings, which are less readily in his control, along the lines that we explained with regard to Zrizas above the end of chapter 7. And commentary says that Ramchal explained that that a feeling of enthusiasm for mitzvot can be cultivated by external actions that stimulate enthusiasm, such as running to perform a mitzvah. Here too, inner humility can be cultivated by behaving in a humble manner. Just like I said earlier about, dressing a certain way, acting, going, not being, putting yourself in the front of, and putting yourself more in the back, stay in the background, so those things will all help you achieve that. Okay, and then he continues, this technique is justified because all this is included in the dictum of the sages of blessed memory in Brachos 17a. A person should always be resourceful in his pursuit of fear of Hashem. That is, one should seek out strategies to use against the inertia of one's own nature and its inclinations, until he conquers them. A person is enjoined to use all techniques and methods at his disposal to influence his emotions and actions towards the service of Hashem. And the commentary says that Ramchal is addressing the problem that outward acts of humility, when not matched by internal feelings, are essentially hypocritical, as he himself noted at the beginning of chapter 22. How then can we advise an aspiring Anav to begin with the external trappings of Anavah? So here he answers that when such behavior is adopted with the goal of attaining internal Anavah, it is not hypocritical, but is actually a wise strategy in the service of Hashem. Acts of humility are hypocritical when they are undertaken insincerely in order to disguise internal haughtiness, right? So you act a certain way on the outside, but really inside you're you're full of yourself, so to speak, okay? I'm just giving a little understanding. So he continues the commentary. But when they are undertaken as a means to acquire internal humility, they are honest and wise, and in fact are a necessary step on the path to true Anavah. The first step to Anavah is for a person to recognize clearly that he has no right to feel prideful about either his situation or his accomplishments, as explained in the previous chapter. But even after one knows this truth intellectually, as long as he has not internalized it as a natural feeling of the heart, he has not acquired the trait of Anavah. It is laudable, therefore, for this person to employ a strategy that will help him internalize his Anavah. To accomplish this, Ramchal advises that he should gradually adopt practices of humility, which, although external, will affect him internally as well. And then says, see the insight that was previously from the last chapter, but I'm not going to go there. So meaning, if you're really trying to do it, so on the outside, maybe it doesn't look 100% like you're doing it, but it's you're taking the steps to acquire that, and you have to change it in your inside too, in your ideas and your thoughts that are in your head. Okay, and this is where I'm going to stop. So I hope and pray that we will all merit to live and see the coming of Mashiach speedily in our days and the rebuilding of our final and everlasting Beit HaMikdash. Amen. And thanks for watching.